Hey, good evening. It's Friday night, and I am Kathy Beatty with Divorce Support Anonymous, stepping into your life to give you some encouragement, some hope, some tools, some techniques as you go through the trauma of divorce or after divorce. Even though a divorce may be final, there are still a lot of things that need to be settled. You need to design your own life, a new life. You need to find your new normal. You need to help the kids. There is so much to do. This is such a life altering event that doesn't last just the year of the divorce, it carries on. And as we go through the divorce process and go through the years after divorce, we all have these expectations. And that's what our topic is going to be tonight is we're going to talk about expectations. Of course, I want to state the new group has started last week. There's still room for you. We go 10 weeks. So if you joined us now, you'd have 9 weeks and I'd catch you up on what you missed. And there are resources that you will have and great discussion as we work through and articulate the trauma of divorce that is happening to us. Very, very helpful. In fact, I ran into a woman just recently who was 5 years removed from going through a divorce in my group. And she was a totally different person, as is true with so many that I've seen over the past 20 years doing this work. They are new, they are fresh, they are taking on life, they are vibrant. And it is a beautiful thing to behold. In fact, it is the reward for this hard work, is just seeing people get on the other side of it. And if you are listening to me tonight and you do not feel like you're going to make it to the other side, let me assure you that you are, that you are. The hundreds of people that I've worked with going through divorce and the support group and mediation and divorce coaching, they all made it through, and you will too. But it takes intentionality. It doesn't just happen as time goes by. Oh dear, no. Because I have met people who are still stuck in their bitterness. Why? Because they did not process and work on their healing of going through divorce. Anyway, as you can see, there are so many topics to discuss about the trauma of divorce. Tonight, I'm going to talk about expectations and divorce. You know, I'm convinced that that's the reason why our marriages fail, is because people have these expectations that they were shown perhaps when they were growing up, or some Disney fairy tale they had in their head of how things were supposed to work. They had these expectations. And then we find that those expectations are not always realistic. And because of that, we suffer a lot. And some people grow apart because one refuses to look realistically at a relationship and a marriage, and the other just sees the reality of it. So, yeah, that's one of the issues with expectations. So I have 4 points tonight that I want to talk about, and expectations is the topic. Expectations of the process. People have this idea, and you know what? I did too 28 years ago. Well, they're going to see the judge, the process. They're going to see what's fair and right. They're going to see what I did and how I was betrayed, or how I was wronged. They're going to see, and they're going to fix it. They're going to stand up for me. Well, I wish that were true. The fact is, in Michigan and in most states, is the no fault divorce. That means that it basically doesn't matter who failed, whose fault, where the injustice was. It's simply a matter of dividing assets, dividing debts, working out parenting time. So we have these expectations of the process. We have expectations of our attorneys too. We think, well, my attorney's going to guide me through this, and he's going to make all the decisions for me, or she's going to make all the decisions for me. Well, that doesn't work. You have to be the one to make the decisions of what's important to you, what's worth fighting for, what is a priority for you. So there are these expectations that we have about the process of divorce. Maybe we think, oh, this should be done in 2 months. Oh, I wish. I wish. It takes longer than what we think it's going to, and we hoped that it would. So we have these expectations that can really be dashed and discouraging. And that's why when you go into the process of divorce, it's a really good idea to have a 1 hour consultation with me for free. It doesn't cost you anything to talk about the process. Or I have multiple videos on YouTube that you can look up. I have one, How Mediation Works. I think it has over like 14,000 views because it's an educational tool for you to learn this process. And then your expectations can become more realistic. I also do divorce coaching, and I have a workbook that helps you prepare for mediation. Let me grab it up here and show you. This is a free download that I offer to anyone upon request. It's going to help you really just guard those expectations and have realistic expectations about how this process works. It's really important that you understand and have the correct expectations, because if not, you're going to get so frustrated and so upset because you think things should happen in a certain way that they don't, unfortunately. So, number one, expectations of the process. We have all these, and it's no wonder, right? You've never been here before. So how would you know how the process works? For those of you going through your second divorce, and I work with a lot of people that is the case for. Things have changed, people have changed, dynamics have changed. So it's totally different even the second time around. So find out what is realistic to have in the expectations. Expectation number 2, expectations of that your spouse is going to be reasonable. I mean, wait a minute. We were married all these years. We had these kids. We agreed on things. He or she always looked out for me. And so I'm going to expect that they're going to be reasonable as we go through divorce. Oh, I wish that were true. If I had a quarter for every divorce that starts out saying, we want this amicable. And that's a great intention. It's just that when you get down to the nitty-gritty and the facts of dividing the assets and the retirement and all of that, it gets really, really sticky and really messy. So you can no longer, we talk about this in my group, you can no longer look at this person as someone to be trusted. It's this mind shift that this person is no longer safe. And that is critical that you do that. Critical. Because it's not the same person. It's just not. It's not the same person with the same values and the same beliefs and the same relationship and caring for and protection that your soon-to-be former spouse has. So that's hard. That's a really hard mind shift. And yet it's important, because if not, you're going to start taking their word for everything. And they are not, believe me, looking out for you. I mean, I wish. I have seen a couple in the hundreds of mediations and the hundreds of people that I worked with where the spouse really was caring for their spouse. But those are rare. And you have to protect yourself going through this process. So the expectation, don't expect the spouse to have the same relationship with you, to be the person you can rely on because you've been doing it for so many years. So it's so easy for us just to fall into that routine of, yes, this is how he'll behave. Yes, this is what she'll do. You're going to be disappointed. And that's why you have to know what you want and what's important to you, and have a good attorney who's going to work through this with you. And maybe, I mean, ideally it'd be wonderful if you could work out some of these things on your own before an attorney gets in the picture, just to save yourself thousands and thousands of dollars. But just come into the mindset of, this is not the same person that he or she once was. And I have to understand that this person is no longer safe nor looking out for me. Expectations of myself. That's important too. You may think, well, I'm going to expect that I get through this and it's not going to affect me deeply, profoundly, and emotionally. I'm just going to take care of business. Well, that will shoot you in the foot, because it's not true. It's not true. I don't care who you are. I don't care how cold your heart is or how good you are in business. This is different. This is totally different. So important that we have compassion for ourselves, so that when we can't think clearly, we can't make good decisions right now, we find ourselves curling up in a ball on the couch, that we say, you know what? I'm going through a trauma right now. And that's okay that I need to cry tonight, that I need to get the kids their dinner, let them watch a movie, and I go sit in my bedroom and have a good cry. That's okay. I'm not going to expect myself to do everything perfectly right now. I'm not going to expect myself to climb the mountains. I'm going to allow myself to manage the speed bumps day by day, hour by hour. And I'm going to back off on those high expectations of who I need to be and what I need to do right now. Sometimes we just have to survive through it. The next and final one is the expectations of others, friends, family, coworkers. There are going to be people that disappoint you. There will be those people who you just knew were going to be there as your ally, and they're not. And those people who you never expected, that maybe you just knew distantly, maybe it's a coworker that you worked with, all of a sudden becomes your confidant. Or a person in the community that you're a church that you just weren't that close with, all of a sudden becomes your confidant. People don't know what to do. And so many times they don't do anything. And that makes us feel more isolated and more alone. So just lower your expectations of what others do. If they come to your side, great. Great. If they don't, just give them grace. They don't get it. They don't know what side to choose. If they have to choose a side, it's all awkward and messy. So just let them. The true ones will rise up. I know for me, I had some coworkers who, we were friends, I guess, but wow, did they become critical to me as I went through my divorce. So don't have high expectations, even for family, even for friends, because it just gets wacky. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I hope that your friends and family will rally around you and support you, but just be careful that you don't have too high of expectations, because you're just going to get really, really disappointed. Final one, expectations of God. What do we expect of God as we go through this? Maybe we expect, well, God is mad at me and he's disgusted with me, and he's not he's not going to bless me, or he's never going to be near me, or he just sees me as this rebellious child, and I can't count on God right now. I just can't. I can't have expectations that he would be there, that he would comfort me. Oh boy. I wish I could show you the thousands of times that I've had people display to me, show me, tell me, as well as my own life, how God comes in and sometimes just swoops us up and holds us tightly and comforts us and longs to be near us, to guide us, to help us, to give us wisdom. He's not mad at you. He wants to help you, even if you're the one who left the marriage. He wants to guide you through this time of trauma. He wants to help you. He wants to help you. And sometimes he does that through caring people, through pastors, through therapists, or maybe it's in his word. When you read the book of Psalms and you hear David cry out the anguish that's in his soul, and you say, oh God, yes, that's me. That's me. So be careful that your expectation of God is correct, and not one that believes that God is forsaking you or abandoning you or forgetting you or throwing you through the curb, because he's not. His grace is abundant. His patience is abundant. So expectations are really important that we monitor them. Let me just run through again: expectations of the process, expectations of your spouse being reasonable, expectations of myself, expectations of others, friends, family, coworkers, expectations of God. What are your expectations? And if you have them unrealistic, it's just going to frustrate you, and it's going to just slow you down and cause you to withdraw and be even more downcast and depressed. So just watch your expectations and have hope and have faith that even through this terrible time, you're going to get through it. It is a season. It is an awful season, but you are going to get through it. And I'm going to meet you on the street someday, and you're going to be that totally different person. Why? Because you did your intentional work on your healing, and you trusted God in the process. This is Kathy Beatty with Divorce Support Anonymous, walking with you every step of the way through the trauma and after the trauma of divorce. Have a good evening.